Now, how about them damn Celtics?
We are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording on Sunday, November 24th at 7:12 in the evening. It's
Reasonable hour.
game.
Yeah.
Very weird to be chatting about the Celtics this early after a game, but Celtics pick up a win, 107-105 over the Minnesota Timberwolves. Get a win at the end. We're up 19 in the third. Minnesota battled back. Pretty good fourth quarter performance from Anthony Edwards, but Celtics held on. They did their job when they needed to, picked up the win. But very weird game overall, even though it came down to this entertaining final moment. It felt more like a slugfest than anything else, even though it was like really a back and forth evening. I don't know. It was weird to explain.
Yeah, weird game. Coming into it, super excited. Said on the pregame show, both Minnesota versus Boston games last year were bangers. Both overtime, both exciting. One team won each one. Meaning they split them. Not one team wins every game, dumbass. But yeah, today was close, but it didn't feel that close until the end. Then it felt close because the Celtics just continued to pull away and pull away and pull away, and then basketball did its thing, and it was a game of runs, and not everything went Boston's way for the entire game, and Minnesota got close. But then the Celtics did what they needed to do to once again distance themselves from the Wolves. Coming out of halftime, they had just given up 11 or 9-0 run to end the first half. Then they build the lead to 15 before the Wolves even make a basket. So pretty good response there. Fourth quarter, you saw a couple pushes from Minnie met by physicality, whether that was Tatum and Brown posting up Nickeil Alexander-Walker, getting easy looks in the paint, and then just clutch threes, good defense at the end for the final push. Celtics did a good job of answering all the calls today, and that's really the tell of a good team. In years past, how many times have we come on here and been like, they blew another game, what the hell, like mad as hell, hate watching them lose leads. It seems like in the full-blown Missoula regime where they are Missoula ball every night, they are so prepared for the swings that come with going cold from three, where they weren't before, that they manage even when, I mean, what did they shoot today? 21 and 56. So still not awful from three.
Yeah.
But like on a day like today, like they probably don't win this game in years past.
Yeah. I mean, I said this to you in the press conference room. If you take away Jalen's 5 of 5 unconscious start, they shoot like 31% from three, excuse me, instead. So it's not nearly as impressive if you think of it that way. And I think the real problem was sort of like the opposite of what you've seen in the past. Derrick White, Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown shot really well from three. Everyone else was really, really bad. Al Horford, 2 of 9, Drew Holiday, 1 of 6, Peyton Pritchard, 1 of 5, Sam Hauser, 1 of 5. Like, that's not a good performance and not what you're used to seeing from the Celtics role players. So I think it was pretty awkward from that lens. I think the Celtics defense was also pretty inconsistent in this game. Obviously, see the defense at the end of the game on Ant. Jaylen Brown took that matchup. They, played a good possession. Forced Naz Reid to not even get a shot up at the end because it was, revealed that he shot it after the buzzer. But the defense felt pretty shaky. Like, Julius Randle was getting by them in the first or second quarter, like with ease. They were getting blown by. Anthony Edwards blew by them a few times. They lost people in the paint. Rob Dillingham had this stretch late in the game where he just like kind of did whatever. Rudy Gobert was hitting the offensive glass. Well, it just felt like for spurts, the Celtics defense would go from, oh, wow, that's a pretty good defensive possession to just a free shot for the Timberwolves. And the Timberwolves didn't even shoot particularly well in this game. They shot 42% and 36.6 from behind the arc, but that's why I said, like, I just think the consistency wasn't where it needed to be. Like, there were possessions where the Celtics played pretty well in defense, but then there were other ones where, oh, wait, why is Dante DiVincenzo open? Or in transition, this guy gets open somewhere else. Like, it felt like disconnected at key moments, and I think that is sort of why the Timberwolves were able to battle back at times.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly some of that. I think there's a layer of guys just making shots, and, you know, their perimeter defense wasn't great. You mentioned it, guys getting blown by the entire game. Can't dispute it. It's a fact. But what they could control is the kind of shots they created for themselves. And, I mean, listen, they got beat off the dribble kind of at the end of the game, but Jaylen did a good enough job recovering to force Ant to kick out to DiVincenzo, who Tatum did a tremendous job of closing out on. And then Drew Holiday closed out on Naz Reid, who didn't even get the shot off at the end of the game. So ultimately, the effort was there when it needed to be. I hope this doesn't become like a habit of like, oh, we can turn it on and turn it off in game. Like, it's not great to see them like seemingly
Yeah.
giving 100% at the end of the game, but then like having so many instances throughout the game where you aren't confident in that, and you're like, did they really do a great job of defending? And like, it's a legitimate conversation to be had, even though like they showed you, they're like, look, we are locked in at the end of this. But sure, not the best overall effort. Which
Yeah.
you know.
I do think there's a level to it where, as much as it's annoying to think about it from, they don't have to, so they won't. Like, you want them to give 100% effort. It's a long season, right? And not every game is going to be perfect. And so if the Celtics can scrape together, can you hear me? Am I still here? Hello?
You
was weird.
lagged, or one of us lagged,
No,
and
my
I didn't
mic-
hear you, but I just
it didn't actually come unplugged. It just like stopped for me. Sorry. Anyways, what I was saying was, if you can get away with this from time to time, I do think there is an element to it for as much of it being frustrating to watch. Like, you take wins like these. Joe Mazzulla has said it like in the past few games, like, it's nice to win when everything doesn't go your way. And as much as it's frustrating to one of the things, to see that one of the things not going your way is they're just not locked in every possession on defense. Like, that needs to change. But you know that when the playoffs come around, they're going to lock in. And so it sucks. And I think it's fair to criticize. And I mean, we are and we will. But it's hard for me to completely kill them for it when I know that they will not do that in the playoffs. They will not do that when that matters. Like, I do think there is an element to it where, like, this is a championship team. You know, they will be a championship team. And so once the playoff comes around, you trust them to lock in possession to possession to get the stops that they need. So it's not perfect. It feels like this season so far has been kind of like that. Like, not the perfect game. Like, since that start of the season where they were just blowing teams out, it's felt like they're kind of stringing together wins, scraping together wins, fighting, doing what they need to do, but not too much more. And maybe you'd like to see a few more blowouts mixed in there, and they will come. I mean, you look at the Nets game that was sprinkled in, but I mean, what are they, 13-3 now? Like, it's hard to complain too much, even when they don't play perfect possession to possession. But the defense, I feel like, has been a topic of conversation that's need to be had this season.
I mean, defense, no defense. They held them to 105. Not bad. Not bad at all by today's NBA standards. Like, if the Celtics have a normal shooting day by their standards, let's say they only shot 42.5 today. Off the top of your head, do you know what they shoot on average for the season? It's got to be closer to 50%. Maybe it's a
Who?
little lower
For
than
what?
you'd expect. The Celtics. Maybe
From
it's a little
three?
lower than in general.
Oh.
It's
Let me
probably
see.
a little bit lower than you would expect just because of the volume of threes they take, but still, like, it feels like they are a very efficient team. They usually score a lot of points, and it says a lot.
45.8.
Okay, so they were below average today, even though 45.8 isn't the greatest shooting percentage as a team.
17th in the league, yeah.
But still, to win when you're below average and bringing it on the defensive end at the end is a very good thing. Now, the 42% today was not helped by the team selling their soul so Jaylen could make 5 threes to start the game, because he made all the shots, and then the Celtics did not make a field goal until there was like 2 minutes left in the first quarter when Peyton Pritchard made a fall away over Rudy Gobert. Drew Holiday had free throws the possession before that, but it was literally 10 minutes of basketball where someone not named Jaylen Brown had not put the ball in the basket for the Celtics. It was a brutal watch after like the start where you're like, I mean, I almost fell out of my chair when he made the shot over Rudy and crossed him on the perimeter to the step back with the heat check. Like, it was a crazy play. It was super great energy in here. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, they're not scoring anymore. What's going on? They still have to play another, I don't know, 45 minutes after Jaylen exploded, and nobody showed up until there was already 10 minutes played.
Yeah. I mean, the Celtics overall, like 45.8% from the field is 17th in the league. Even their 3-point percentage is not as good as you think. They shoot 37.1%, which is 12th in the league, which is still like top half, but it's not amazing. The difference is they take almost 6 more threes a game than any other team in the league. Like, they're lapping the field. They make 2.1 more per game than any other team in the league. The difference between them and the Hornets, who are in second in makes, in terms of per game, is the same as the difference between first or the Hornets and then like 10th place. Like, they're lapping the field in threes, and that's a big reason why they are as good as they are. They're also bottom of the league in turnovers per game, which is great to see. They're also one of the best free throw shooting teams. Ironically, they shoot 81.5%, even though it feels like they missed some big ones. You know what's disgusting? The Warriors are shooting below 70% from the line this season. That's crazy. That's an insane stat.
has to be like the worst experience as a fan. Granted, the Warriors are winning games, so I'd say maybe it's worse to be supporting the 76ers, but it's gotta suck to see them just leave points at the line all the time.
The Bucks are second lowest, so that's got to sting as well. But the Sixers,
Giannis probably has a lot to do with that.
It's true. The Warriors are missing almost 7 free throws a game, which is wild. But back to Celtics Wolves. We can talk about it here. Jaylen Brown to start this game was insane to watch in real time. So the way it went down was the first 2 threes he made came off beautiful ball movement. Like he stood there, he spaced the floor well. The Celtics found him, they swung it. It was incredible. And then he came down. He was like, all right, I'm hot now. I'm going to pull it. Cash. And then I think it was the fourth one. Correct me if I'm wrong. Or maybe he had another pull-up in there. And then the last one he made of the bunch of the ones he made was, I'm on the wing. I'm going to dribble, step back, fade away over Rudy Gobert. And it was one of the most ridiculous made threes I've ever seen him make. Like the start to this game for Jaylen Brown was hilarious to watch. There's no other way I can describe it. Like you said, it came at the cost of like no one else was making shots. They had to find the flow of their rhythm in their offense past that, and they kind of struggled to do so. And Jaylen Brown did miss 2 air balls right after, but those 5 shots was like, oh my god, this. I thought he was going to go for 60 at that point.
I mean, that was it. Was like you looked up, he already had 15 points. Just an insane sequence. It was bang, 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 bang. The heat check one again. One of the crazier moments I've seen with my own eyes. Just everybody knew it was going up. He goes into his like dribble package, falls away over Rudy. Building explodes. If he made the one on the next possession when he pulled up from like the hash mark, I can't imagine what it would have like been like in here. But I mean, even past the fourth quarter, though, Jaylen finished with 29 points. So like, did he score over half his points in the first like 3 minutes? Yeah, but he had some big buckets in this one. He had the last, I think, did he have the last shot that they made? I think it was the 3 he stepped into and hit to put him up 5.
I think he had the last field goal made in the game.
Yeah,
it was technically the game winner.
Yeah, so that's a big moment. He was ready for it. He shot 6 of 8 from 3 tonight, or no, I'm sorry, 7 of 9 from 3. So he shot 2 for 4 after the hot start, which is still far better than what we had been seeing from him.
7 of 10
to start this. 7 of 10. Oh, he missed. Yeah, he missed 1.
Yeah,
So far better than what we've seen this season. It's been a really rough start for him.
yes.
I hope that this carries over and helps him get his confidence back because even though he's played pretty solid basketball this year, he doesn't look like the same guy in that area. And being a part of this team, you kind of need to have that.
Yeah, Jaylen, good performance by Jaylen. Clutch bucket at the end of the game as well in the mid-range on top of the 3 he made. Tatum had a pretty good game, 26, 8, 4, and 2. Wasn't super efficient, 8 of 21, 5 of 12. Efficient from 3, couldn't really get it going inside. He had a big bucket at the end of the game as well, though, and it did feel like when he did make a concerted effort to get inside, like the paint, he did pretty well. Weirdly felt like kind of a quiet game for Jayson Tatum, even though he filled up the stat sheet again, 26-8, 4 assists and 2 steals. But I mean, he made his impact. He was fine. It just felt like this was sort of Jaylen's night in the spotlight at the very least.
And that's fine. And I think the Celtics turned to him at appropriate times of the game. He even had a miss in the fourth quarter that was a good shot from the mid-range. It just didn't fall. They did a really great job of utilizing him, getting him shots that were under control. Had a tough miss on the baseline with Nickeil Alexander-Walker, but then they posted him up on the very next possession. Got him the ball inside the restricted area, and then he got himself an and one. Didn't make the free throw. But still, bully ball. It was a very controlled possession at a time of the game. The Celtics really needed that. And there weren't a lot of bad read-the-room moments from Tatum today, which says a lot about it because this could have been a game where bad read-the-room moments could have really undid the Celtics. Jaylen has it going. Tatum wasn't as efficient. What was he, 8 of 17, I think? He wasn't quite at 50%. You're muted or something.
My mic is being ridiculous tonight. He was 8 of 21. 8 of 21.
Okay. You should have stayed muted. We could have been a lot nicer to him. But, like, still, like, that's important to kind of understand Jaylen's the guy tonight. How many shots did Tatum take in there? I really need to start putting the box score up. I had it open when I was writing.
What's your question?
How many shots did you take in the fourth quarter, Tatum?
Let me
3?
look 1 sec.
I think off
in
the
the fourth quarter, He took 3, yes, and he made 1.
Like, that's fine. That's
And
all they
none were
really needed
threes.
out of him, and none of
None
them
were
were
threes.
threes.
Yes.
Absolutely fine with that. Jaylen had to go, and they went to Jaylen. They moved the ball well in the fourth quarter. Derrick White continues to be maybe the clutchest guy on the team, just continues to not
Yes.
miss in the fourth
Yes.
quarter. He made a big shot to put them up 7, made layups earlier in the quarter. He had the chase down catch on a pass that Jayson Tatum was asked about after the game, where it's a little bit of a questionable decision, but Derrick White made him look okay. Having somebody like Derrick White, who is just always there, always reliable, is so important when you have 2 superstar guys like Tatum and Brown that are going to get a ton of attention. You have Derrick White to keep the opposing team honest. They cannot completely sell out on those guys because you have him just ready to create, ready to catch and shoot. Whatever you need from him, he's ready to do it. Massive towards the team's production late in the game.
Yeah. I mean, Derrick White has been incredible this season. Like, he was not good from 3 to start this game, nor was he good from 3 to start their last game against Washington. But he comes up big in the second half and in the fourth quarter. And I mean, play after play, time after time, like, the Wolves went on a run. They sort of bounced back in this game. Celtics were up 19. They battled all the way back. And every time there was a run, it was a Tatum midi fadeaway or Jaylen midi fadeaway or Derrick White 3 or a Derrick White block. Like, there was always something that sort of kept the Wolves at an arm's length away. And Derrick White was a big part of that. I mean, he was huge late in this game. His 2 blocks were also like insane in this one. He battled around a screen to get a block on a Jaden McDaniels 3 in the, or sorry, Jaden, no, I was right. Jaden McDaniels 3 in the corner. And then Ant was like trying to beat the shot clock on a mid-range shot late in the fourth as well, or third as well. Sorry, I can't remember. And Derrick White just jumped up and blocked it. So he's been so good, so impactful. I mean, he made his last 4 shots in the fourth quarter in this game. He started this game 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 of 5, and finished the game 6 of 7. That's ridiculous. That's insane. From the third quarter on, he was 1, 2, 3. He was 5 of 6, and including 4 or 5 in the fourth quarter with 2 threes. He's unbelievably clutch. And what impresses me more, and I might do a video on this where it's like less podcasty and more like actual YouTube video. When Derrick White drives, that little floater, that little jump shot in the mid-range he gets, like, whenever he gets that spot, that's like, the circle for the free throw line, like those dotted lines right inside the paint. If he is there, gonna go in. Like, just does not miss. I'm gonna look it up right now in real time. And again, I think I might experiment with a YouTube video on this and like do like a more YouTube-esque style. That's not just podcasting into a mic. He doesn't miss. Like, he is unbelievably efficient on that shot. It's like to the extent of like how Jokic is great on those push shots and Jakob Poeltl was unconscious that night. Like, Derrick White is doing that on the season. He is so impressive.
It's been like that. It feels like for the last year and a half, and having that in his bag is so important for the Celtics because that's a tertiary creator. You can trust him to go on the drive, know if he doesn't really get a ton of attention, he's going to be able to make them pay for not committing to him. It just helps make everything easier for everybody. Like, he is the ultimate grease on the wheels because they just can't sell out on anybody. They can't. If Derrick drives, they can't sell on him because either Tatum or Brown or both are out there. And if the other guys are having a great game, you can't leave Derrick because he's so reliable. He seems always ready for the moment. Being able to get downhill not only makes him a great scorer, but it makes him a great distributor too. And I said it to you during the game, having 2 guys, White and Holiday, I feel like they can just play true point guard if you ask them to do it, is such a luxury when you look across the floor and Minnesota doesn't have anybody playing point guard for them today.
So Derrick White from 8 to 16 feet this season is 15 of 19. He is shooting 78.9% from the 15 from the 6 to 8 to 16 foot range. Let me see where that ranks in the league. So we're going to be 8 foot range, 8 to 16 feet. Among players, let me look at totals. I want to see of people who have taken at least 15 shots because that's not a very common shot. Or maybe it is actually. I guess Brandon Ingram and the DeRozans, they take a lot from there. Of people who have taken at least, let's say 10 shots from that range, we'll up it to 15 if it fits my agenda. Derrick White is shooting the second best of players who have taken at least 10 shots.
For number one.
Peyton Pritchard's number one. He's not number one.
Oh, they have both.
But that's ridiculous, man. And Pritchard's only taken 11. So if people have taken at least 15 shots from that range, he's first, number one. And the only other person who's close is Chris Paul. Chris Paul's 76% on 21 attempts. Derrick White's 79% on 19 attempts. The next best is 69%, which is Steph Curry. Like, that shot for the Celtics is money. Like one of the best shots for them on the team. Probably the most efficient shot on the team for the Celtics is Derrick White. And the best part about it is, like, it's not like Derrick White will just take that whenever. They are big moment shots. Like, whenever the Celtics just need a bucket, they're like, all right, Derrick, just drive inside. And they have to chase him off the three-point line because he's one of the best three-point shooters in the league. And so he just gets in there, gets a little floater, gets a little mini, and it's cash. So that's a very impressive little niche thing about Derrick White. But the rest of this game, we can talk about pretty briefly before we wrap here. Like I said, Hauser, Pritchard, Drew Holiday, Al Horford didn't shoot super well from three. I thought Hauser was great on the glass. He finished with 5 rebounds, 3 of which were offensive. I thought he was a monster there. Drew Holiday was fine, played some good defense, couldn't really get a shot going. Pritchard was pretty mad because he couldn't get a shot going as well. Horford got blown by a bit too much on defense, and the shot wasn't there as much, although he had some nice blocks. He had 2 in this game. Tillman had a block too. Xavier Tillman got the run because Luke Cornett was out. Nemish Keita was DNP in this game. Tillman was 1 for 2, had a nice little layup, had a rebound. Still feels a bit awkward offensively, like the spacing isn't there. He ran off the three-point line a couple times when you may have wished him to stay out there, but I thought he did an okay job switching. He got blown by pretty often by Ant and by Randall, but I think everyone was. Like, Jayson Tatum got blown by, Al Horford got blown by, so I think he was trying. I think he deserves more looks, but it was still a little bit awkward tonight. And he was very foul happy. He had 4 fouls in 14 minutes, so he needs to work on that, even though maybe he didn't look too pleased with some of those calls. But anybody else you want to talk about, you can pick and choose. I just ran through like the last 4 or 5 guys just to wrap up. But
I mean, I thought Tillman has been pretty good since he came back. Tonight, I thought he was fine. I didn't think he was bad. I didn't think he was good. I just thought he did enough to really not make them feel not having Al Horford on the floor. He did the Luke Cornett job where he was just vanilla ice cream. It's kind of what they needed. Made some good passes on offense. I don't think he ended up with an assist, but he did have a pass that ended up leading to a foul, which, I mean, essentially is a bucket, kind of.
Yeah.
I love the corner crashing. Jack and I talked a little bit during the game about it. Those shooters, Jaylen had one, Hauser had the 3 that you mentioned. Getting in was huge for them early in this game. I think it was part of the reason that they didn't really fall behind more by the time the first quarter came to an end, as they were missing every single shot, because they were at least giving themselves a couple more chances to get a look up and not giving Minnesota the ball back. So I like the hustle we've seen from the team. I like what we saw from Tillman. I thought he was really good on Friday. I think there's hope for him going forward. I don't know if he's going to be in the rotation when Kristaps comes back, but I think over the next month or so, he should have a little bit more of an opportunity to prove himself. I hope he feels a little bit more confident out there, because it sucks to play without confidence.
Yeah. I think that just about does it. I think there's something else I wanted to say, but I can't remember right now. So I think I'll leave it at that. But win for the Celtics, 13-3 on the season.
5 straight.
Ugliest win, 5 straight, longest streak of the season. They started off with 4, I think. So this is their new longest streak. Got the Clippers tonight as you're listening to this. So make sure to tune in. But yeah, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll let Sam take it out.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you subscribe, leave a like, comment. Tell us what you thought of the win over the Timberwolves. Jack and I will be here for pregame tonight at whatever half hour before the game is. I don't know what time it tips. We'll also have the game recap tomorrow morning. That'll be part of a full pod. So hit the bell. You don't want to miss any of the content, new stuff every single day. You can find us on Spotify and Apple too. Pods and game recaps like this one will be up there. So if you follow, they go right into your feed. Leave a 5-star review. We'd appreciate that very much. You can email us, hbtcpodpod@gmail.com. We read all of your emails on every single pod recording. So get them in. We love to hear from you guys. You guys are a big part of the show. Merch, if you like us or if you just think the name is cool, you can buy a shirt, hat, sweatshirt, something. It's all in the YouTube store now. International shipping may not be great. I think we're working on a way around that. Can't guarantee it, but it's a thought we have had. You can find us on socials at How About Them Cities for Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Facebook's just the name of the pod. All streams are there. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. Jack's Twitter's at Jack's1NBA. Mine's at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us.
Check,